Dallas has just been on a tear. I believe we can attribute that to Jason Robertson. Also, Jake Ottinger, who's really stepped in.
Yeah, so we can compare a rookie QB to a toddler. Hayward's absence for this game will be significant, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game turns into a blowout as of late.
The Golden Knights just can't pull it. I really think the Avalanche are determined this year.
They made so many moves and grabbed so many guys that they have to win a championship or at least make the finals. They were on our championship and bust.
The same self, the only year he won an MVP was the year he cheated, which really should put something against that MVP. But
yeah, and as a Cowboys fan, I have learned how dangerously good Aaron Rodgers has been with he can just thread a pass.
Hello, I am Ruby Ackerman, and you are listening to Outsider's Opinion with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. We talked about the 2 seed and we talked about the Grizzlies and kind of that experience with them. And the man that I'm sure is shocked by Taylor Jenkins getting fired, the coach of the Grizzlies, Austin.
Yeah, I don't get this at all. The Grizzlies have had a number of injuries this season, from Bane to Jaw missing every other game. Edie missed a significant amount of time. They've had injuries across the board. And they're still the 5 seed in the West, basically tied with the 4 seed. I don't know what else you can expect. The West has been extremely close this year between all the teams. It's been a close battle between the Rockets, Nuggets, Lakers, Grizzlies, and all those teams in between. So I don't really know what they expected of Taylor Jenkins. He has the most wins in Grizzlies history, I believe, for a coach. Something else had to have happened. According to Ja, he did not know that this was going to happen, and I believe it was not a good choice to fire Taylor Jenkins.
Yeah, I think the only reason it's a good firing is if there is some off-the-court issue. But because I think this kind of reminds me of when Udoka was fired. I guess he wasn't even fired. He was just suspended.
Yeah, I feel like we would have heard something by now.
Yeah,
I still haven't heard anything regarding the Taylor Jenkins, so I haven't heard anything, which makes me think that it's just a terrible decision and not something that Taylor Jenkins did off the court.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. We should have heard something by now about it, because that kind of goes into like, well, why would you fire this guy? Well, there's this issue, and that just hasn't come out yet. And kind of talking about it too, there's only a few weeks left in the regular season. So you're really not preparing the next coach, because even though we talked about the 2 seed, the Grizzlies are still in the playoffs. So that coach is going to have a tough matchup. And how is he going to be able to prepare for that team? Even if you do an interim coach, that's still putting them in a difficult position, I would say. And I don't think you see what the Bucks did. That would make zero sense to just bring in someone. I'm trying to think who they could bring in.
I don't know.
I can't think of a coach right now. That's like Doc Rivers was on like ESPN.
I mean, I can think of like
Stan Van Gundy?
Yeah,
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And it's kind of you mentioned Ja didn't know about it. But right now they're currently at the 5 seed, just tied with the Lakers, but they both lost the game as we are recording this. So that's really tough. And like the Clippers are at 42. They're only 2 wins above the Clippers and Warriors in that seed. And then that puts them in a play-in, and that's just more pressure on that coach.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. Because, again, not only did he have the most wins in the Grizzlies' history, but he brought them from being bad to being a contender or pseudo-contender in the West. I mean, they were a 2 seed. They were 1 seed for a long portion of the season when they were that. And, again, they've been in contention without Ja for basically half the season, without Edie. Santi Aldama's missed time. They've had a lot of injuries, and I do think that kind of shows what he was able to do as a coach. But I mean, obviously we'll see if this works out. I'm not going to say it's a horrible decision yet. If they find a coach and it works out perfectly, then fine. But I'm saying right now, I have my doubts regarding that possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a smart move, especially in this hot take era we are in. I would just say this. I don't see how this sets you up for success this season. Because I understand firing someone thinking you can upgrade at coach at the end of the season. But so I'm not going to say for the future, but it's just like, how does this set you up well for success in this season?
Yeah, it's a very good way to put it. I don't think it does, but time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. We'll keep you updated. But yeah, we just had to kind of just show and talk about our shock with this move. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions. We appreciate you listening and look out for a video tomorrow.